Hello, YNABers. My name is Jesse Meekum, and this is podcast number 11 for YNAB.com, where we teach you 4 rules to help you stop living paycheck to paycheck, get out of debt in 2012, and save more money to boot. I have a special guest on the program, Erin Lowell, today. She is head of our education efforts. If you're a business owner, a professional, someone that works a lot with people, any type of influencer, you can reach her at education@YNAB.com, and it is possible that we could help you help your people out. Bulk discounts on software, free books. Have her come out and teach a live class to your group. And she does it very, very well. So Erin will be on the program in just a second, and we'll be talking about something very cool that we're doing for just the month of January, actually just this next weekend, New Year's Crash Course. You'll hear more from her. In the meantime, I hope everyone had a great holiday, very safe New Year's. This is the time for New Year's resolutions. I am bucking my own trend this week. I am not going to set any New Year's resolutions. I'm actually going to give myself license to do some very tiny habits. One will be around food. I haven't decided the other ones. I've always done financial, fitness, spiritual, and family. And I'm running kind of dry on goals, to be frank. So, as you guys know, I've mentioned the podcast before. I've been talking or, kind of tweeting with BJ Fogg. He's a Stanford researcher, and he has this program called 3 Tiny Habits. You can find it at tinyhabits.com if you want. I participated in it a few weeks ago and kind of his pilot group, loved it, talked all about it already. You can check the prior podcast to find which one. And so I'm trying to devise my tiny habits that I'm going to build for the month of January, and then I want to do some more in February, and so on and so forth. Tiny habit that everyone should have if you have an iPhone or Android and you use YNAB on it is to record your transaction after you just spent money. You'll find it extremely useful. However, that's probably topic for another day. I've got Erin here, and so we'll go ahead and pop over there, and you guys can give Erin a warm mental welcome. Talking about our New Year's Crash Course this year, something new we're trying. I'm excited to introduce it with her, and then I'll see you guys on the other side. Thanks. I'm here with Erin Lowell. She is in charge of YNAB's education. So if you guys are confused by anything, Erin confused you. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
she
I
probably
hope not.
is. No, she's here to help everyone not be confused, and she does an awesome job at it. So, hey, Erin, glad I could get you on the phone today.
Yeah, it's like to be here.
Have you tell everyone a little bit about yourself, how you found YNAB, and why you decided to make teaching it a full-time job for you.
Sure. Well, I was a public school teacher for about 22 years. I taught music for a long time. And I found YNAB way back in 2006, Jesse, when you were just running a little spreadsheet. Mm-hmm. And I was looking for a solution because I had dug myself a little bit of a hole with credit card debt. And I knew that this was going to be the thing that got me out. And it did. It took me a couple of years, but I dug my way out. And I felt so empowered by the change that it gave me that I got hooked up with you and have been helping people get things straightened out, credit card debt, or just, getting on a good track with a plan. So I find it really rewarding to work with different people and see them turn things around financially.
So how many people do you think you've taught the YNAB method to since
oh my
you
gosh.
started?
I don't know.
I wasn't planning on asking you that.
Yeah, that's okay. No, that's all right. It's got to be thousands because we've been doing these webinars for probably 3 years. So thousands.
It would definitely be thousands. Yeah, definitely.
Probably well over 10,000, I'd say.
Cool.
Hard to say.
It is. It's kind of neat to think of all those people that have heard your voice explaining things to them, hopefully making light bulbs go off, as you do. So
hopefully.
It's kind
well,
of
I feel really lucky now to have a lot more time for it, too. And also that we've got a great staff on now. We've got other people teaching. I don't know if people know that, but we brought on Todd Curtis, and Todd is an elementary school principal down in Massachusetts, and he jumped on to help out with coaching and teaching over a year ago. And then the last couple months, we brought on Melissa Bright, who's a high school math teacher from Southern California, and she covers the West Coast now, so we're able to offer much better class times for the West Coast. And then we just recently brought on Lee Hamill, who's in the Central Time Zone in Minnesota, And Lee has a lot of experience teaching through the Navy. He actually taught through the Navy Nuclear Power School. So he's got a lot, all of our people are super smart and super nice and have a lot of background in teaching and training.
Yeah, they get good feedback. I was looking through the feedback the other day, like participants of these webinars, they give, yeah, the teachers just earn a lot of high marks from the students, so to speak.
And I think part of that is not just that they're good at teaching, but the one thing we've been really lucky with is that all three of these people are experts at YNAB. They just know the software and the method backwards and forwards. So, it's the best way to get help, I think, is to have somebody who's an expert and somebody who's an expert at teaching explain it to you.
What's the average class size for the webinars? Like, am I going to get, someone pops in, there's probably someone listening that's like, oh, but it's going to be huge. Like, what kind of class size do you try and keep it to?
Well, typically we might see I think 20, 25 would be a low end for that intro class, but we've had classes up to 100, but probably our norm is somewhere between 40 and 50, I'd say.
So do you have people that are asking live questions to the teacher as they're instructing?
Right. So we'll typically do a presentation to cover a topic, and then people can ask questions through the chat window, and then the teacher just answers those questions live and demonstrates the answers right on the screen. So, you can't get better support than that. It's right in real time. And so people say, how do I get to that again? Oh, you click right over here, and they can see it, So it's
having
a great
someone
way
right
to learn.
over your shoulder.
Yeah, it is. It's just exactly
cool.
what it is.
So we have this thing that you wanted to do, and you came to me and said you have this crash course idea for the new year.
Right.
All kind of built around a fresh start for people, which the New Year is a great time. I'm addicted to New Year's resolutions. Everyone tells me they don't work. I still enjoy them tremendously. And I guess you were kind of thinking we could do some kind of a New Year crash course for people. Just let me know, who's this, or I guess first is what will the crash course entail, and then kind of who is it for? Sure.
What I wanted to do was sort of get at people who just want a little support while they're getting set up, or maybe people who want sort of a reset. I myself, I've got a budget file that's about 3 years old, and I'm going to start a brand new file in January. I've already decided I want to reorganize my categories. I want to try some different things. I've got a bunch of payees I don't use anymore, a bunch of categories, things I've paid off. So I'm just going to get a good fresh start, and the new year is a good time to do that. So we're going to cover, just to make sure we cover everything fully, I'm going to cover the rules and the method, and then we're going to walk people through a setup. We're going to show you exactly how to set everything up. And we do this in the intro class a little bit, and we do it in a budget workshop, but this is going to be much more in depth because I figure you might have some people who've got it kind of set up, but they haven't been tracking all their accounts, and maybe now they're thinking, I've got a pretty good handle on this now. I want to track my car loan. I want to see how can I watch the balance of my car loan go down. So things like that we don't get a chance to do in some of those introductory courses where we'll cover some of that content. We're going to take it to a much deeper level, and we'll cover credit cards in depth. Post-Christmas, a lot of people starting to deal with bills coming in from the holiday, and so it's sometimes finances, and plus with the New Year's resolution thing, that's often on people's mind at the start of the year. So I thought this would be a great chance. And, I've taught the intro class and the budget workshop back to back before, where we give people an overview of the method, and then we have them come back for a second session if they want, and we walk them through a little bit of a setup. And I've had people do that, attend both sessions, and then email me an hour later. They're still sitting at the computer working on their file. So there are people who are willing to do that, to sit down for an extended period of time and just let's get it all together. Let's get completely organized. Let's clean everything up here. What's my plan moving forward? So that's kind of where I was targeting it toward.
Very cool. So you're planning on this being kind of a long, versus the normal length of an intro class. It'll be a longer run.
Yeah, our normal classes run an hour because we know people are busy. But we're going to run this. I'm going to run this the first weekend in January. We're going to do a morning session on Saturday and an evening session on Sunday. And we're going to do 3 hours. But I don't want people to get worried that it's going to be bored. So we're going to do some giveaways. We're going to give away some prizes. We're going to give away some T-shirts. Maybe some copies of your book, some free copies of the software to give to a friend. So we'll try to keep it interesting and try to keep it lively. We'll take some breaks, through that time. But if anyone is just interested in, I'm just going to sit myself down for the morning here, and I'm going to get set for the year. I'm going to get organized. This is probably the class for them.
Yeah, that sounds great. It sounds like, it's kind of a one-time thing, really is a crash course, and then you'll know for the whole year
that you were set up correctly and you've got things going well. And you can always check in later with another class.
Absolutely.
And,
Yeah,
see.
another class that we've run before, and we'll probably run again in the spring, is we used to run a weekly meetup where people could just drop in once a week, and we kind of do a topic of the week, sort of a short hitting topic, and people could say, this week I had trouble with this, and we'd kind of walk them through how to figure it out. And that was pretty successful, sort of a more advanced class. And we'll probably come back to that again once we get over the new year. But this is more of a little bit of a, I guess you could say, a bit of a sprint to get everything set up. And certainly, you don't need to do this. Some people are fine setting themselves up, or some people might just read a good overview of the rules or do the walkthrough that we've got set up in the software, and they'd be fine. But I know that some people have more questions after they leave us for, after an hour of class. An hour later, they've got more questions. And so I thought if we just hung around for a couple of hours and let people soak everything in and get everything set up, we can answer a ton of questions in that time frame.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. So you'll be giving stuff away. That'll be fun. And you're running one first weekend in January, Saturday morning, and then Sunday evening.
Yeah, it'll be 10 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday, and then it'll be 7 o'clock nighttime, p.m. Eastern time on Sunday.
Okay. So if someone wants to sign up for these classes, they'll be able to see the class registration link on the live classes
on the
section
support
of the
page.
site. On the
If they
support
go to the
page.
support page, they can click on the live classes, and that link will be posted there.
Okay. Very cool.
Awesome.
Well, thanks, Erin, for popping onto the podcast. And
Sure. And if people ever have questions or suggestions for something they might like to see in a webinar, they can always email me at education@youneedabudget.com and tell us what they want to hear about, and we'll take a look at it.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, Jesse.
You bet. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All right, that is a wrap. Thanks again to Erin. Again, if you want to join us in the New Year's Crash Course, we'll be giving away a lot of stuff, and you'll be learning a ton about how to set up your budget correctly for 2012. You can go to youneedabudget.com/support and then click on the Training and Education section. The button says something like Learn YNAB in Depth. Until then, follow YNAB's 4 rules, and you will win financially. You have not budgeted like this.